Welcome back to the channel. My name is Cares. You are watching You Don't Scare Me. Today we're going to be checking out 7 scary ghost videos that are unexplainably terrifying, giving my 2 cents on it, and sort of just in, general debunk. So, a couple of things I want to go over before we start this video is the first one is mic check. It's working. So the first one is, so Nick and I are going to be doing some paranormal investigations going forward. I have a plan right now. That I'm working on to build a uh, basically like a toolkit. Um, so I have an idea, and the idea is basically to have a toolkit that we could wear around our necks, kind of like umpire or not umpires, those guys who sell hot dogs at hockey games and stuff. So what the plan is to put this box together where I can put a whole bunch of tools and stuff in it, maybe a suitcase or something. But the spirit boxes, how they work is they go through the signal, and they rapid fire through the signal, and then you sort of get responses to the ghosts, or the ghost will give you responses through it by selecting channels and then pausing the signal or doubling the signal or something, or the logic behind it is a little flawed. Uh, Personally, Nick and I have gone out during our St. Joseph Cemetery. I built a spirit box, which should be. Oh. I built a spirit box previously in my Fallout bag of ghost stuff. Um, Whatever, it's in here, but it didn't really work the way that I wanted it to. The signal repeater didn't really function properly. I've seen some tutorials online where you can take like this particular model of radio and then solder 2 wires to the power switch or something, and that basically rapid fires um, the signal and then gives you like an essentially a spirit box. But one of the things that I figure is an interesting concept. So here it is. Okay, so using my phone, you have an app called Filox. Filox allows you to use a whole suite of different instruments on your phone. The technology that's already installed in your phone, like a gyroscopic meter, an accelerometer, light sensors and things like that. And what your phone has is it has the ability to detect and to display frequencies that are being projected. And so when you think about the sort of system that is in play, right? I tune into a frequency on a radio, right? Let's say that's 1600 megahertz. I'm not a radio guy. I could be totally wrong about what that meant. But let's say we go into channel 1600 on the AM frequency, which personally worked a heck of a lot better for Nick and I, because when we tuned into this like in between frequency, like if we're going to take this is what I'm going to be using as the spirit box in the future. I'm planning on like gutting it and doing some wiring and stuff like that. The signal repeating going on in there, but let's say we tune the frequency here to an in between station. So you have, let's say 102.1 Toronto's the edge, and you tune it into 102 or 102.5, let's say, or whatever. We're outside of two signals, outside of the broadcasting range of two different signals. So you're sitting in between these two frequencies. It's kilohertz. I just see it says it right there. So what I noted was during our investigation in St. Joseph Cemetery, we were tuned into a different AM frequency. We were in between the AM frequencies on that thing, and a lot of responses came through, and not just like not responses that we totally heard. They were kind of whispering. It wasn't really super conducive or like really super serious evidence, but it was it was to me a little bit more interesting than the average spirit box session or Oculus, or what do you call that, it's stupid Subnautica. Sounding like a 40-year-old, 50-year-old here. People use this app on their phone. Nick hates it. I don't remember the name of it, but use an app. It's a Spirit Box app, and it's a paid app, so it's like meant to like get more sales, so it doesn't work right. But anyway, the point is that this is a little bit more credible than the Spirit Boxes that you typically get, because the Spirit Boxes rotate through all those signals rapidly, and you just sort of sometimes catch a frequency or a band that's like, or like a radio station that's over a couple bands, and you think that's a ghost. But when you tune in between the frequencies and between the channels that are associated with whatever stations that you're broadcasting, you get this special sort of static where there should not be any signal coming through from either station, but enough energy that if a ghost was an electromagnetic or an energy field, it should be able to interpret or manipulate or whatever. So the plan is that we're going to use this box, and it's going to have a radio transmitter and a radio receiver in it. Okay, so the radio receiver, it's going to have a radio in it. Okay, so that radio is going to tune in between frequencies, and then we're going to use the onboard sound systems on our phones to determine what the proper frequency is. If we receive responses, it should spike. The audio should spike. Now, to help mitigate the random static that's coming through, we're going to be using an amplifier, a guitar pedal, basically, to filter out the static sound that you would normally get when you're playing electric guitar raw straight into the amp. You get like a little bit of a staticky sound. The guitar pedal filters that out. So we're going to tune the guitar pedal so it's just barely tuning out that static so that we can get whatever true crisp audio that's coming through. So the plan is that we have a radio inside the box, and I put a Ouija board in the bottom just for set dressing, but I'm probably not going to do that. So the radio is going to receive signal in between the AM frequencies. We'll be able to tune it using that radio back there. I'll be able to fine tune that frequency until I start to get that responsive sort of frequency. Then the plan is to use a radio transmitter on the same bandwidth. So I'm tuned into AM 101, okay, and AM 101, uh, I'm hearing like you hear like a ghostly sound come through, okay? So then we tuned the transmitter and a microphone into AM 101 and I talk into it. So theoretically, if that's the proper, like if that's like, it's going to be a lot of science, a lot of cross analysis, and like a lot of like back and forth between figuring out exactly how it works. But if I talk into the same frequency that I'm receiving signal on, can I communicate with ghosts? Questionable? Definitely. But if I'm receiving responses on a particular band, maybe there's another frequency that I can respond to. Maybe they require a lower frequency or a higher frequency for our. Maybe they don't need a frequency at all. We can just talk straight to them. Imagine how many times these people are sitting in a room talking to the thin air and then assuming that there's some kind of like ghostly presence on the other side that's talking back to them. Maybe it's not the case. Maybe we need to amplify or transmit our voice on a particular frequency so that they can hear it. Hmm? I don't know, but this is called science. Okay? This is what Nick and I are going to be doing. We're applying the scientific principle, the scientific method to testing new technology, altering that technology, testing it again, gathering data, gathering resources, and then creating a document that basically goes over what worked and what didn't work. And then we're going to start working on, different sweep of tools. Because let's be real here, I'm not going on Amazon and spending $200 on a spirit box. Ghosts aren't real. So I'd rather spend all of my time working on a silly little box because then I get something out of it. I get the satisfaction of knowing I built a really cool looking supernatural box. And so to judge it up a little bit, we're going to have the audio transmitter, audio receiver, all that dealio in the box there. And then we're going to add some other tools in there that you would typically see in games like Phasmophobia. So I'm going to have a thermometer in the back here. I'm going to like have like maybe some holy symbols or something like a cross or something just for, set dressing. I plan on putting a candle in here so that we can set up a candle, because like sometimes in Phasmophobia, the ghost will blow the candle out. I have a UV flashlight now. I have a UV flashlight, kind of like Nick's UV flashlight. So if there, if ghosts leave ectoplasm or you know what I mean, like the fingerprints and stuff in Phasmo. But we're gonna bring the flashlight. We have all of our tools that we had prior to this, and then yeah. So I want to get a hygrometer, like a hygrometer, a water tester meter to say how humid it is. So I'm thinking like one of those outdoor patio sort of thermometers where it measures humidity as well as temperature. Because then if we get ghost responses and the temperature decreases rapidly, then we can be like, oh, it's associated, right? We can also read the temperature when we get there and whatever. An EMF detector, I've got two of them now for reasons, and a barometer for pressure. So a lot of these sort of you fall into that like sort of thermometer, that outdoor thermometer situation. And then this guy over here is a sound recorder, like a tape deck, but like a more like, retro style tape deck, I'll probably end up building something like I'll probably have a tablet in here that's like recording and running the Filox app. It'll probably be recording audio so that I don't have to waste like physical tape. However, another interesting thing that I've thought about is what if our current technology, our new technology, digital technology, doesn't have the ability to record ghost sounds, which is why we went out of our way to get our hands on some of these like older tape decks. Because what if it has to be analog? Like when you take pictures of ghosts, if you're taking pictures of digital ghosts, it's just an artifact of the digital ghosts, right, or digital device. But what if you take pictures of ghosts, but it only works if you take them on silver or Polaroids? You know what I mean? There's a lot of data that's missing from this sort of our current process that we could get way better results if we stick to like analog signals. Think about like how vampires they couldn't be seen in mirrors. It wasn't the mirror. They could be seen in mirrors. Vampires can be seen in mirrors. The reason that they couldn't be seen in mirrors is because the backing to mirrors back in the day was silver, and silver did not reflect the soul the same way or whatever, and vampires don't have souls, so they didn't reflect. It wasn't the mirror that they weren't being reflected in, it was the silver in the mirror that was reacting supernaturally to the supernatural being. So what if when you took pictures way back in the day, they took a bit on these pieces of metal with like etching fluid and stuff on it, and they said they didn't want to take your picture because it will capture your soul or something. What if it's true? So we need those like vintage, sort of dealios to get it to work. So to that end, I would like to have a recording system that uses a cassette tape, like a physical analog tape, and then also have a digital recorder so that I can capture both of those results. So I need to figure out how to get two audio sources to record simultaneously on two different media sources, and then have a microphone. I drew a parabolic mic there because I thought that was cool, which might work, might not. I don't know. I could probably just use a shotgun mic with a cone around it just to like suck in all the noise. But yeah, so I get the parabolic mic, and we get the results that we want, like the spiritual, mumbo jumbo comes through the parabolic mic, is recorded into the analog and a digital source. We've got the recorder and transmitter and a microphone so that we can try to talk back through the same frequency. Maybe we get better results that way, maybe we don't. And then we also have the hygrometer, the temperature, all these different meters just to sort of keep track of like ambient air temperatures and stuff like that. And then whatever other suits that we can get in here. I know a lot of people like to use like cat balls that are like that light up to get results, because like if the ghost touches it, it's sensitive enough that it goes off. But maybe we also get like there's a couple of different tools out there people are using right now. They're using a music box that's basically the same thing as a the music box is weird. The idea of the music box, without me looking into it in any way, shape, or form, if I were to do the music box, I believe that the music box would be the same structure, along the same lines as when you like unscrew that flashlight and it's just in between being connected or not. And then the idea is that the ghosts can like impart their energy and cross the gap and turn on the light and turn off the light. Maybe the music box is just super sensitive, like the nibs that they cut the music into are really short, and so the musical instrument is always hung up and is waiting and just needs a little bit of extra power to turn the music box on. So maybe they're referring to like the electromagnetic field of a ghost turning the music box on or off. Who knows? Um, we're probably not going to get to these scary ghost videos. You're just going to hear me ramble for like 20 minutes, and then I'm going to upload that. It's already 3 o'clock. I got off late, got off work late. So this video is coming out a little bit later. I don't really have the time to record anything else. So I'll just talk about my cool box for a while. The second thing that I thought could be implemented, like that music box can definitely be implemented into the system. However, it'll be stored in the box, but it has to be taken out and put down so that it works autonomously and away from me and away from my body shaking it and making the music go off. The next one is that theremin. I forget what they call it. It's a REM pods. So what a REM pod is it's basically just a tube with an antenna that sticks out the top and some lights on the top. Now, the the REM pod, all it is a theremin. And what a theremin is humans have electricity running through our bodies. Like we have that like sort of ability. We have power running through our bodies. And so theremin can pick up on that sort of frequency that's coming off our hands, and as you get closer and further away from like the theremin, you can make different noises. So like think like Mars Attacks or Alien, old Alien movies. That's a theremin, right? They're playing it basically by like they have two antennas that stick out the sides, and then they're just putting their hand in the middle and breaking the electric field between them to like raise and lower frequencies and make sort of that kind of noise. So a REM pod is basically just a deconstructed, kit bashed theremin. That's all it is. When it goes off, it's because there's an electromagnetic signal that's close enough to it that's setting it off. The consequence of that is that the REM pod is also then privy to, it will also be set off by ambient radio signals and electromagnetic fields, like your cell phone. If you're old enough, you remember having your cell phone near television, and every time you got a phone call, it would go the speakers on the screen, and then your phone would ring. You always knew there was a call coming in because that happened. I don't think it happens anymore. I digress though. So thermins, or sorry, the REM pods are set off the same way that the speakers used to be set off, by electric signals, radio signals, and stuff like that. So I may or may not include that. The bottom line here is that my hope is to build this box, or this suitcase box, for significantly less than the normal ghost tools go for. A spirit box is just a radio with a frequency repeater in it, right? Something that cycles frequency constantly. That frequency recycler, that little chip, is like 11 cents on Alibaba or on Wish or whatever stupid cheap website people use these days for garbage computer parts. The point is they're dirt cheap. They're like 11 cents, right? And the radio is $20. Why would I spend $200 when I could just do the soldering myself? It's not that hard. Furthermore, the radio transmitter and receivers, like $20. Amazon, same thing. You shop anywhere. I know like the what do they call it there? The Source, is that still a thing? The Source is probably gone. Circuit City, what do they call it before? The Radio Shack. When you used to go to Radio Shack, there used to be like a wall of computer parts and a wall of like, you could buy capacitors there in little baggies, so you could buy them off the shelf. It's awesome. They don't really do that anymore. I don't think they do anything anymore. I think the Source is gone. I haven't seen it in a while. It's probably completely gone now. I don't think there's anywhere near me that sells computer parts and like little instruments and stuff like that. But that would be awesome if it did. But anyways, I can source these parts pretty easily. So yeah, if you guys are familiar with all the suite of tools that people use, I highly encourage you to leave a comment below and tell me what you think that I should add to this box, or maybe give me your thoughts on how any of this might work, or anything that you want us to test. Like we are non-believers. We don't believe in ghosts. Nick fully doesn't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe in the scientific method. And I believe that there is a very good chance that we might just not understand enough to confirm or deny that there are ghosts. To put this into the simplest perspective, I do not believe. I might believe that ghosts are possible. The supernatural is possible. Aliens are definitely real, though. But they just have never visited Earth. So that's it. The videos that you watch online, like the videos that we were going to review today before I started rambling about my little box, those are not real. And a lot of the times, those videos, they muddle the scientific field. This is not a credible science. Nick and I are not going to be, um, going into the Smithsonian and setting up our ghost phone or ghost box display and then having any kind of credibility of the field, because the field has been so thoroughly muddled by 15 minutes of fame, YouTube, TikTokers looking for their viral videos. It's been muddled by, stupid ghost stories and like all these YouTube videos that I was going to review today. Likely they're all garbage, And so when you get those ones that truly make you go, huh, those are the ones that you need to pursue with passion. You need to prove or disprove them with extreme prejudice, like undeniable focus. And so that's what I'm hoping to do with this. This is what I'm hoping to do with Nick, is to go out into the field despite the fact that we don't believe. We're going to have fun doing it. As the Crown Cemetery video might show you. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. It's hilarious. Nick and I had a blast there. We were like coffee, 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 and then we went and did it. So we had a lot of energy. I had a blast. You could see the contrast between St. Joseph's to when Nick and I were solo investigating the Crown Cemetery, and then to the Jacob's follow up, St. Joseph's follow up. You can tell the energy level between the two of them because Nick and I both work in the morning. He works at 6 in the morning. I work at 5 in the morning. So we tend to be really tired by the time night rolls around in the afternoon. So if we don't have a nap, we're cranky. And so we're trying to bring that energy from the second hunt to all of our hunts. We do take this very seriously, but we are also not doing this. We're doing this for fun. This is our fun. This is fun for me, right? So when we go to do those investigations and we go to do the next investigation, which we have a beat on a couple of interesting places. I know Christian wants to join us on a couple of them, but he doesn't want to do like a um, doesn't want to do like a cemetery because he wants to stay overnight. But that's a little expensive for us right now. We're not really in a very good financial situation. We're just working ourselves. I say with these plants behind me and the plants that I keep buying, we're not in the best financial situation, so we can't afford to stay overnight at like haunted hotels and stuff like that because it's like $200 out of our pocket that we can't really afford to lose right now. So we're trying to look for places that are convenient locations where we don't have to drive very far, where we can investigate on our own pace and our own time, and then really just milk the free content as long as as long as we can. So the ones that we're looking at recently have been public properties like cemeteries, for instance, not gated cemeteries or closed cemeteries, public cemeteries, cemeteries that are open 24/7, and have history or stories along with them. We're not just going to go and investigate any old cemetery. I know a lot of people around me have been recommending us go and check out the Riverside Cemetery, Guelph, Ontario. We've already been to Guelph, Ontario for a couple of the different investigations, and they seem to have a lot of really interesting content there. There's a couple other places around the area. There's Ghost Hill is one that keeps coming up. Guelph Lake keeps coming up. Arkell Cemetery, and some of the other smaller ones, which should be easy enough for us to access. They're all within a half an hour drive of us, so that's probably what we're going to end up going for. Is one of those cemeteries, and then just continue our same sort of vibes. Because like we can guarantee you, there are dead people in cemeteries. We can guarantee you that there are likely ghosts in cemeteries. Think about like they should be hotspots. They were during the early days of Pokemon Go for hunters. They should be now. So at the end of the day, this is what I'm working on right now: is building a suitcase full of tools, something better than my Fallout backpack here, something better to hold all the tools that we're going to be using, and something where we can show that we're serious about what we're doing, where we're serious about getting results. And at some point, if I can swing it, I will get I'm going to say Richter scale, Richter, an earthquake or a vibration recorder, and also have something like that, not inside the box because I'm probably going to be carrying that with me, but somewhere around we'll put out one of those boxes to measure like movement and frequency and stuff, and then also many static cameras, GoPros, and as many cameras as we can get our hands on, pointed in different directions, getting double like two different views of things, of ghosts, of rooms. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like this video or you want to see more videos like this. Dropping a like always helps, gives us gets our videos out to more people, and then we can together build a foundation of pure information, or like critical information, or ghost investigation information, science. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I know this one was a bit of a boring one. You're just listening to me talk and drink chocolate milk, but uh, I want to talk about this box more. I want to build this box, and I want this box to be cool. Yeah. Anyway, thanks. Okay, bye. Oh, don't forget to water your plants. Okay, bye.